So maps historically we've looked at as a document, as something that used to be printed on paper. So it was very static, and it wasn't particularly easy to add your own information if you were a business or even as an individual. So it was something that was not particularly accessible to people. Well, one of Google's sort of mission statements is to make information universally accessible. So when you had a situation where the data existed in the form of maps, but it was really hard to get hold of, there we saw something that we could fix. So we went and we've spent 10 years now collecting mapping data for the whole planet. And we now make that available to almost anyone who's got access to a computer. So suddenly you have the greatest map of the world at your disposal. I think what we try to do hard at Google is to make information accessible to businesses. And often if you can make information accessible, you can see trends within your own data. And if you can make sort of small incremental changes, so for example, if you're delivering parcels or you're responsible for routing vehicles, if you can make a 5% energy saving every day, that soon adds up over the period of a year. And to do that in a very easy way, that the solutions that you might have looked at 10 years ago would have cost an awful lot of money, would have been very specialized. Now with the Google technology, because we're all very familiar with it, we all use Google Maps every day, you don't have to train your staff, it's there on your web browser, and it's suddenly accessible to everybody. What really excites me is a very simple concept in that everything happens somewhere. And we now have a sort of a reference frame, a box that we can use to identify where different activities take place. And there's this concept called the Internet of Things, an idea where every device that is connected to the internet can communicate with each other. And we can see huge potential in looking at the devices that we might have at home, smoke detectors, thermostats, refrigerators, having those devices suddenly become more intelligent. We can have a refrigerator that monitors the location of the people in the household and say, well, if there's no one at home, I can reduce my energy consumption because no one's going to open the fridge door, and I can save maybe 10% of my energy costs. And those devices are being intelligent because they're being connected to the internet and they're aware of what's going on around them. Maybe the final frontier for us is indoors. In the West, we spend 70% of our time indoors, and most of the mapping technology up until now stops when you go in that front door. So there's a big challenge for us. We need to be able to work out where you are inside a building, and we need to be able to navigate you to the meeting room or to the cafeteria that you're trying to get to in a big complex building. So that's a real big challenge for us, and we're still working on that one.